Good evening, everyone. Welcome to SHEMAKERS Live, where we have conversations to help women develop their playbooks to win in business and life. I am Shavonna Williams, your hostess and the founder and CEO of Heels and Helmets. For more than 2 decades, I've worked in marketing and communications, in business, politics, and sports, 5 major sports leagues. Yes, I am a veteran in this game. You can imagine throughout my journey, I have definitely been in some boardrooms where I was the only woman. I'm working to change that. My goal is to get more women, not only in the boardroom, but at the head of the table with equal pay. And that's why I wanted to start this conversation, to bring women together to learn from each other. We know that we cannot accomplish anything alone. And often when we hear about other people's journeys, we only get the good stuff. We only know about the championships. So I want this conversation to be more than that, to help us recover from our fumbles. How do we keep going when we don't get that slam dunk? Well, those are some of the things that you'll get from this conversation. I bring out women who are not only talented and killing the game, but share my passion to help you succeed. That's what a SHEMAKER is. Not just someone who is scoring, but someone who wants to help others succeed. So welcome to SHEMAKERS. I hope that you enjoy tonight's conversation. Definitely get your playbooks out. Get prepared to take some notes from tonight's SHEMAKER coach, Alison Fillmore. Let's meet Alison. Alison Fillmore is Vice President and Executive Director of the Tour Championship. That's the finale to the PGA Tour, during which the 30 best players in the world compete in Atlanta at the iconic East Lake Golf Club. Fillmore leads the tournament's efforts toward an enhanced fan experience, works alongside the event's partners, including Southern Company and Coca-Cola, and develops strong foundations for long-lasting relationships with business professionals in the community. Now, since Allison took over, the tournament has seen a 53% growth in attendance and revenue. Yes, she is a SHEMAKER, and I told you, I bring out ladies who are killing the game. Fillmore has an extensive background in the sports and entertainment industry. She previously served as Vice President of Sales for Atlanta Motor Speedway, Vice President of Ticket Sales and Services for the Atlanta Dream, and the Ticket Sales Manager for the Atlanta Falcons. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, Fillmore attended Ohio University and received a Bachelor of Science in Sports Administration. Currently, she is a board member of the Drew Charter School, First Tee of Metro Atlanta, Athletes for a Better World, and Wise Atlanta. She is an active member of the East Lake community, where she resides with her husband, Scott, and 2 daughters, Taylor and Alexa. I am so happy to have Allison join us this evening. Can't wait to get into her journey. You heard a little bit about her, but she has literally touched almost every professional sports league. I think baseball is the only one that she has not worked with, but we'll learn more about that now. So everyone, please welcome our SHEMAKER coach for tonight, Alison Fillmore.
Hi.
Welcome there.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Check is in the mail.
So welcome. It's always so nice to hear. I'm just like, yes, my friends are killing it.
Oh, you're
Some good
sweet.
people in my circle.
You're sweet.
Well, after all of that, Allison, I'd really like to start with you taking us back to not Ohio University, but Ohio for high school, and what attracted you to sports, and how did you end up thinking about this as a career?
You know, it was really interesting how I connected sports with business. I played sports growing up as a kid, like most people do, but I really got into one sport, and that was racquetball. It was a sport that my mom played, and I would be at the club with her, and I picked up the racket, and I was hitting the ball back and forth, and I decided that I wanted to play a tournament with her. And the first tournament I played, I actually won it and kept playing after that. So a lot of our weekends were spent going to racquetball tournaments, as, you know, typically you'd go to softball tournaments or, you know, on the road doing travel. I was traveling with my mom to different racquetball tournaments, and I was fascinated by, the brackets and how they were created, what it took to put on a tournament, how they got information to us, how there was a hotel right nearby. It's just like all these things that factor into an event and the success of events I was fascinated by, and I wanted to learn more about it. So more and more, I was deciding that I wanted to understand the business of sport. After playing in it for so long, I wanted to be on the other side of things and really create those events and, bring people out. So that's kind of how I really, my love for event management and sports began.
So what was it like? Here you are starting racquetball, and out the gate, you win the tournament.
There weren't many people playing at that point. There might only been like 3 or 4 ladies. No, it was it was the novice division. So you go from novice up to open. Open is more of a professional division. So within like 3 or 4 years, I was playing regularly in an open division. I tried out for the U.S. national team 3 times. I made it my last chance. I made it when I was 17. Awesome. And got to train at the Olympic Training Center, got to travel and participate in world championships. It was a lot of fun, and it taught me so much as a kid, just because, it's not a team sport. So it's all on you. And I would be so hard on myself when I lost, and I would not listen to anybody. Or, I remember like running out of a court and being so upset. And it's now equating to what I'm dealing with my kids and them playing sports. So it's interesting to be on the other side of things and look at it from my point of view and remembering how it used to frustrate the heck out of me when I used to play.
What were some of the things that you did to help you get over that tough critiquing of yourself?
I had to learn to calm myself down. And I realized that when I was walking into a match, I would be nervous as all get up. So what did I do? I actually knew that music kind of calmed me down, but also pumped me up in a non-nervous way. So I would bring, and at that point, I'm dating myself now. I brought my Walkman out into the court, and I'd shove it in my pocket, and I'd put my headphones on, and I would hit the ball. And it would just relax me. And I do that now to this day. If I'll go to the golf course and I will just hit balls on the range. I'll stick my headphones in and I just jam out for an hour and hit balls. And I'm just focusing on that. I'm really determined to do well. And that just kind of grounds me and helps me focus so much more. So music has really helped me kind of chill out. But also kind of pump me up in another way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
As you were, preparing for national competition and even trying out for the Olympics, were there things that you saw then about events that you were really curious about and wanted to work on to even change?
Absolutely. I grew up going to events as a kid. I was coming from Cleveland. I was a diehard Cleveland Indians fan. My family had season tickets, so I got a chance to go quite a bit. And I always remembered, the big thing for me was the experience. When you walk into the stadium, you not only have sights, but you have sounds, you have smells, you have just all these things that really affect your experience there. And it's something that you really connect to and think back about great times, great food, great relationships. And it's something that has made me think about how the fan experience is at games and how I want people to connect with it on that level.
Now, what did you end up wanting to focus on when you were in college?
So originally, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. And in high school, actually, I had to do an internship. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, and I wanted to, I interned with the local Fox affiliate in their sports department. And one day, I mean, this is just the coolest story. I have to share it. I was following him to go to a golf tournament on the east side of Cleveland, and Jack Nicklaus was there. And he walks up to him and says, Allison, I want you to stand back. I want you to hang out. Jack can be a little tough of an interview. So there's a gentleman that's here. He's starting to become well known. His name is Tiger, and he just accepted a scholarship to Stanford. And I was like,
my goodness.
What do you mean, Tiger? Whose name is Tiger? So I sat in a golf cart with him, and I drove around, and we talked about Indians baseball. We talked about racquetball. We talked about golf. And, 20 years later, I'm there handing him the trophy. So it's kind of very cyclical kind of situation. Sports, and, it creates these amazing memories for people. And it's something that everybody has in common because, as a kid, you went to sporting events or you played sports. As adults, you watch it on TV or your kids are watching it or participating in it. It's a part of our fabric. And the way that you can connect to a sports team or sporting event, that's what fan engagement is. It's that deeply rooted connection that team has or that event has with that fan, and how you can even ingratiate that more within the fan and the event or team is truly the success. I mean, I see that as like Atlanta United, like what y'all did for the fan base in Atlanta. Whew, I mean, if I could copy that, I would do it in a heartbeat. You guys were brilliant with it. Really were.
Well, first, you have a very cool, this is how it started and this is how it's going.
Yeah, I guess
with that Tiger Woods story.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. That is very cool. Did you get a chance to remind him of that? When you did give him that
I didn't. I wanted him to like take it all in. It was my first year of running the Tour Championship as well. So no joke, as he was just as flabbergasted, I was like sitting there thinking to myself, this is my first year running this event. I have Tiger Woods coming back from winning after 5 years of really not playing. What am I going to do to leverage this opportunity? I got people texting me like, oh my God, what are you going to do next year? I'm like, can I just enjoy this moment, please? So it was, it really makes you think when those big things come up. It's like, you have to be prepared for everything, any little thing that happens at especially an outdoor event that, I'm standing there on 18 and this crowd bum rushes us. I was like, this isn't supposed to happen. I hope everyone's prepared for it. And thank God I have the best team, in golf. So everyone was prepared and ready, but man, it was crazy. So I didn't want to like take away anything from him. And honestly, I probably couldn't have spit out a word edgewise at that point.
There are so many moving pieces to the tournament, and I can only imagine the contingency plans for basically an outdoor venue.
Yes.
I've always worked with teams that have indoor venues, stadiums and arenas, not a golf course. How do you approach your work?
I mean, you've got to think about it from every single angle. So not only are you worried about weather, you're worried about, little like what's going on in this world right now, mass shootings. You've got to think about, if there is an earthquake, if, there is a bomb, like every single type of situation we have to be prepared for. So these plans are happening all the time. We're updating all of our emergency plans constantly, working with local, state, government, all that stuff. But then not only am I in charge of the fan experience, but you're also in charge of the player experience as they come in. Are they safe? Are they protected? You know, is everything secure, private, privacy? You got the 30 best players in the world that are coming to Atlanta to compete for $15 million. So a lot's at stake here. So it's, thank God that this isn't, the first time this event has been put on. So there's been a great groundwork laid for me. But you really have to take a look at every single thing. You have one chance to make a first impression. For these types of events, you don't get any makeups. Like, we don't reschedule and push it a week and say, okay, weather delay, we can play again next week. Nope, that's it. So every single thing has to be meticulous. Everything has to be perfect. And if not, you got to really dive and make real-time changes so that experience can get back to being the experience that the fans deserve.
Gosh, you just made me think about how important it is for the team to be empowered to make quick decisions, because it is live and real time, and you do not have time for something that's bureaucratic to go up 3 levels.
Oh yeah. It's in 2019, we had a lightning strike. And I happened to be the first person there because I was walking out of a venue to go tell people that were sitting on 18 that we evacuated to get out of their chairs because there's lightning. And a lightning struck a tree. We had 5 people get hurt. And the way that our team just came together and worked to get all those people safe and cleared out was phenomenal. It couldn't have gone, it was a bad situation to begin with, but it couldn't have gone more smooth because our team was prepared and ready for this situation. So yes, you always got to be on your toes and prepared for any type of situation that's thrown your way.
So that is what you are focused on now. But yes, can you take us back to, let's just say, graduating from Ohio University, and give us the, journey from, graduation to where you are now?
Sure. So when I graduated, I was very lucky to have an internship prior to my graduation. And through that, I was able to land a job with a company called Collegiate Directories. It is a sports marketing agency slash kind of book that is created for athletic departments. It lists all their athletic department members. So I was a data marketing manager and I was assistant editor. These books are like Bibles in college athletics. And I worked there for 1.5 years, and I thought to myself, I saw all my friends making all this money out of college, and I said, I'm gonna go get an internet job somewhere and make bajillions of dollars. Yeah, because that's gonna happen, right? I started with a tech company because this was right around the tech boom. This is 1999, and I got fired in like 4 months because I was so miserable. I was not passionate about what I did. And my roommate's boyfriend pretty much was living in our house as I was working from home. So that really killed the roommate relationship real fast.
Right.
So when that happened, I took a step back. I was playing on a softball team. And I met a guy, I handed my resume, and he hands it to the Cleveland Lumberjacks, which is a minor league hockey team. And I interviewed with them, started off in their group sales department. And later on ended up marrying the guy that I gave the resume to. So that's good.
Wow.
But
in the beginning, he was supportive.
Yes, very supportive, and still is to this day. So I hit the jackpot there. But after I worked there for 1 year, unfortunately, that league closed and it folded. So I ended up building a relationship with the folks over the Cavs. That's where my husband worked at that point, and his boss was going to move to California to be the VP of sales for the Sacramento Kings. And said, I'd love to have you come out and interview for a position. So I did. I got the job. Scott came with me. We lived in the middle. I worked for the Sacramento Kings. He worked for the Golden State Warriors. And after about a year, we realized how much we missed our family because we were so far away, them being on the East Coast, us on the West Coast. I'd call my mom. She'd be in bed when I got home from work. And I was like, you know what? You came with me out here. I'll go with you wherever you want to go. And he had an interview with the Atlanta Thrashers. Yeah. And I then had an interview with the Hawks and the Falcons. He got the job with the Thrashers, and I got offers for both positions. And I said 10 games or 44. I said, I want 10 games. I'm going to go work in the NFL. This was right when Arthur Blank bought the team. Michael Vick was the quarterback. It was an exciting time. There were 2 price points in the Georgia Dome when I was selling season tickets at that point. 2. And Arthur changed everything up and did such an amazing job with the product. Bought the Georgia Force. I was involved in that. Mm-hmm. And that really helped grow my managerial skills. And then I moved into the premium side of things and had an opportunity to move up. I didn't get the position at the Falcons, and I decided to look elsewhere. I looked at it as an opportunity for me to say, you know what? I know that I can do a great job in this role. If I can't get it here, I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's where I went to the Atlanta Dream. I was one of the first employees there. Helped start the franchise, create processes, procedures, really, really learned a ton being there. I was there for 2 years. And this was about 2009. And this was the downturn in the economy. And the gentleman that owned the team was in commercial real estate. He's like, I can't keep these doors open any longer. So that's when Kathy Betty came in and purchased the team. And actually, I was going to stay home with my daughter. I just had my first daughter at that point. And I got a call. Someone randomly handed my resume to someone at Atlanta Motor Speedway, invited me to come down, put me in a pace car, flew me around the track. And I was like, dude, sign me up. I want to do this. And it was a complete and total career change for me because I was doing ticket sales completely. And now I was moving to corporate sales. So I took a step back in order to take a step forward, basically. Mm-hmm. I went from being a vice president of sales to an account executive when I went to Atlanta Motor Speedway because I was selling something brand new. Right. Worked my way up, corporate sales manager, executive director, and then vice president by the time I left. And again, in March of 2017, I got a random phone call from the PGA Tour saying that someone handed them my resume, and they were looking for someone to run sales for their tournament with the potential of running the event down the road. And I said, great, this is awesome. I was getting pretty content in the job I was at. I wasn't as challenged as much, and I wanted a new experience. So I took the position with the tour. I was actually promoted in 3 months to executive director and haven't looked back since. It's been, I love the PGA Tour. Great organization, really, really focused on growing the game and the DEI initiatives. So I'm really proud of the organization I work for.
Yeah, that is incredible. I was saying to the audience before I brought you on, I think Allison has touched every professional sport except baseball. Am I right?
Yes, and my husband covered that. He worked for the Braves. So I think as the Fillmore family, we got it all.
The Fillmore family. That is really awesome. Now, go back to California. There was the Kings and the Warriors. Yes. Did you also have some rules about not talking about the games?
Oh, yeah, because the Kings were really, really good at that point. So that was like Peja Stojakovic, you got Bobby Jackson, you've got Chris Webber. They were a really stacked team. And this is crazy. This is when faxing was big. Yeah. When we would sell our group tickets, we would fax out order forms and they would send them back and we would sell out in a heartbeat. It was crazy. So, and then, he was working for the Warriors and they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. So how things have changed
I know, right?
20 years. So
you mentioned an experience where you were going for a promotion, didn't get that opportunity, and then got the opportunity at another organization. that happens a lot.
Yes.
Can you just share what your thought process was and how you made the decision to say, like, no, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to, as LeBron said, take my talents elsewhere and get that, managerial experience.
Yes. Okay, those are fighting words with LeBron and me being a Clevelander.
Oh, yeah.
And bailing on me. Okay.
I make that slip.
Had to. Sorry. I wish it were as easy as that. And I was very PC how I explained it, but I was told I wasn't going to get the job because I was a female and I brought too much drama to the office. So I said, you know what, if that's the case, then I can take my talents elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And someone's going to be much more appreciative of it. So again, like I said, we run into negative situations and it all depends on how we move forward from those negative situations. So I always call them opportunities because in the end, if I didn't take that opportunity and move to that next level and take that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would have been on a different path. And I'd be sad if I didn't have the role I had today because I absolutely 100% love what I do.
Yeah. I think that's also true of your story about being fired, from the tech company, mm-hmm. and that opening the door for you to really do something that you are really passionate about.
Absolutely. I knew I liked sales. Like I can talk to a wall. I love building relationships with people. It's fun for me. And I knew that I would be good at it. Mm-hmm. But I knew that in order for me to be good at it, I had to love what I did, and I had to be passionate about it. Selling computer job opportunities, that's what I was selling. I was selling it was like a monster.com type situation. And I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't enjoy it. And I knew when I was in sports, even though I was selling data to athletic directors, and so it was still building those relationships, talking about their experiences, learning why they're using the data, editing the books, all of this, because I knew I was working in I was making an athletic department better and more functional by using our services. And that's what I loved about it. I knew I was affecting change. And, selling job boards, I wasn't affecting change. I was making someone's wallet fatter. Obviously, I didn't do that good of a job, or I might still be there. But when I started in sports, I knew that I loved it. Like I would pound out 100 phone calls a day, and I just enjoy talking to people about sports. It's so much fun. It helps me get out of bed every day. It makes me happy. It pays my salary. It's made me be the person I am today. And I love what sports has done for my life and for my family.
It is, definitely a grueling schedule working in sports and entertainment. I tell people we're working when everyone else is enjoying the show. Yes. Once you started your family, what type of adjustments did you make with your work schedule?
Good question. So at that time, when we started our family, I was working for the Dream and my husband was working for the Braves. And, we, put our daughter into daycare and did all that, and she got sick a ton. She got sick a lot. And I got pregnant a second time, and we made the collective decision that, Scott was going to leave the Braves just because there were so many games, and it was just really, really hard for us to have an actual family life when one of us was out all the time. So he ended up leaving the Braves, again, super supportive of my career, and went in an opposite direction. Now working for the PGA Tour, it's kind of the best of both worlds. I'm working for one event all year round. So I don't have multiple events that I'm focusing on. However, in my role, I am out a lot. COVID has helped me slow down so much and has been a silver lining just for me to spend time with my family. However, it's not the grueling, 20-hour days when you're, working in sports or putting on an event, flipping a building. It's a lot more manageable. That's the best way I would put it.
Now, most of your career you spent in sales, and now, or for the last 3 years, you have basically been responsible for the entire tour. How did you make that transition?
So I found out that I was getting the promotion the Tuesday of tournament week in 2017. And I had my sales director hat on, right? So I had my, we were entertaining all these potential clients and, had plans for them all week. My boss comes to me and says, "Hey, guess what? At the end of this, the keys are yours." And I was like, "Huh? What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, you're running this thing after the end of this week." And I was like, "Okay." So I stepped outside and I literally walked around the golf course and I thought about all the things that I needed to think about in this different role, because I'm siloed, right? I'm focusing on sales. Like my bottom line really, really is what I'm focusing on. Well, now I've got to think about everything else, the operational side of things, the fan experience, like everything that is put on with an event, I'm now in charge of. So it's just kind of stepping back and realizing and going through all of that and sitting down and making a plan. Kind of siloing everything out, making sure my staff is ready. Like I've got the right people in the right roles. But honestly, sales is what I still love to do. So I pop in on sales calls all the time with my team. I schlep leads. I look for leads. I'm out there selling just like they are. I mean, I'll be in a grocery store. I'll see someone in a tour championship shirt. I'll walk right up to them. I mean, during COVID, I would call ticket holders and just check in on them to see how they were doing. They're like, "Why is the executive director calling me?" And I was like, I care. I want to know that, what you're doing or how you're experiencing the event is great. So it really makes you put on a whole different hat when I was moved from this position, from the senior director of sales into the executive director role. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah. Well, you definitely have brought a lot to the tournament in a short time. 4 years is not a very long time. What were some of the key changes that you made to continue growing the sport and the tournament?
So in 2018, we created a venue called the 1904 Club. We've noticed that these VVIP smaller experiences have really been taking off. And there's a little neighbor to our east that created this lovely club. And we said, you know what, we can do better than this. So we took some aspects from that, but we really wanted to focus on the exclusivity of it and the opportunity that we have here in Atlanta. We have so many amazing chefs in Atlanta. So we wanted to create a food experience, but also like a really high-end VVIP experience. So we capped it at 500 members and brought in executive chefs like Kevin Rathbun, Kevin Gillespie, Chris Hall, and we want all the hottest restaurants in Atlanta in the 1904 Club. And that's what we did. These things are like hotcakes. We can't keep them on the shelves. They just people are going crazy for these tickets. We've been sold out for ages in this venue. So that has been a huge driver in revenue for us. We also flipped the entrance in 2018. So the main entrance used to be on Alston Drive. Now it's on Glenwood. So when you walk onto the course, you actually see the beautyscape of it. You see the clubhouse, you see the lake as you're walking in. Before, you were just walking down a driveway. It wasn't that exciting. So we did that, which was really big. We amped up our Uber program. We knew that people wanted to come out and enjoy the event. We have like no parking at our venue. We are in the middle of a city, in the middle of a neighborhood. So what we were going to do, we partnered with the school across the street. We created this Uber program, and now it is one of the most utilized gates on our property by far, even more than our main gate now. So that's been a lot of fun to see that. 2019, we kind of took a step back. We did all this new stuff, and we wanted to kind of see what was going to happen. And what we did, from the tour side of things, we changed some things up. We changed the format of the event, the scoring of the event. So typically when, the tour championship, when we crowned a winner, you could have a different winner of the tournament than you did of the FedEx Cup. So we wanted to make it simple for fans. We wanted to make it easy. So we combined it. And the person that won the tour championship won the FedEx Cup. Super, super exciting for a lot of people, because now the players, the fans, and everybody on course knew exactly who was winning just by looking at the scoreboard. It was live and in front of you. Before, there were like 15 different scenarios on who would win. You had to get this shot, or this person had to be here. And it was so confusing. So this really made it super easy. We also condensed and changed our schedule to make it really simple for everyone to follow. There was pretty much a major every single month, starting with the players in March and ending with the tour championship in August. We took it out of football, college football, and ended it the week before Labor Day. So that was kind of our 2019 focus. In 2020, we were going to add brand new venues. However, COVID happened, and we did not get the opportunity to do so. So with this year, we wanted to stay a little conservative because we didn't know what was going to happen, if we were going to be able to have fans, if we weren't. We're different than every other event because we don't have actual static buildings. We have to build every single thing on course. So that means that my deadlines to build out a suite are way earlier than my event. So we have to have things sold pre-event in order to build them. And with COVID, and not knowing these things, we decided to risk it, build out, but only build out exactly what we were planning to build out that we had in 2019. And that's what we did. So now we feel like we're going to have probably full attendance because the city keeps getting better in terms of numbers. But that has been what I've done. It's like really looking at the fan experience. That is so important. And new hospitality venues. That's what I've really, really been focused on in my time here.
Well, I know hearing this, people are excited about the ideas, but don't understand the work that goes into research to make those types of decisions. What were some of the insights you all gleaned? How did you gather those to make, the informed decisions that you all did for those changes?
A lot of collaboration, a lot of communication. Look, I don't make a major decision unless I talk to my entire staff and we all come together and decide that it's the right thing to do. We test a lot of things. We talk to our clients. We have focus groups and make sure that we're having we're making the right decisions. We have a host committee built up of ladies and gentlemen within the Atlanta community that are decision makers that we run these ideas by. We ask them what they want. And honestly, there were some niche items that we were missing out on. There were some price points. I mean, because we have to build everything, it is a little bit more expensive to attend one of our events. So, you're missing some price points there that were kind of sweet spots for people. So just taking a look at analyzing a lot of data. Well, I got a lot more people that are smarter than me that do all this. But, through sales and analytics and looking at our ticket prices, we worked really closely with those folks to create experiences that were meaningful for people. And once they had a great time, the word spread, and we didn't have to do a thing about it. These things are just selling themselves now. It's great. And there's a lot of pent up demand right now to attend events, especially golf and outdoors. Like the game of golf has grown so much over the pandemic that it is now, a massive sport. Like there's something like 500,000 new ladies just started playing golf over the last year. 500,000. That's awesome. So wow, it's been a journey. It really has. And I've learned so much along the way, and I learn new things every day. That's another thing that I love about this job.
Yeah. Speaking of the game growing and exposing it to new audiences, what are some initiatives you all have to diversify the sport?
Yeah, so I sit on a board called the Inclusion Leadership Council, and this is comprised of folks within the PGA Tour. This is a voluntary opportunity that work on key initiatives within growing the game, growing the sport, and growing diversity within the sport. Our commissioner also made a pledge at last year's Tour Championship that he was going to work with tournaments over the next 10 years to give back over $100 million, focusing on social and racial organizations. So it's been really refreshing to see an organization really take a step back and focus on this racial reckoning that we've got going on right now, and really commit to making a difference. So I have meetings every single week on how we're doing with that pledge, what we're doing to diversify the game. My specific area are volunteers, so I'm focusing on that. But not just the PGA Tour is focusing on this. It's a collective focus for all the players in the game of golf. So the PGA Tour, the USGA, the LPGA, you name it, we're all out there trying to do the same thing, is make this sport more inclusive and more comfortable for everyone to feel that they have the opportunity to play.
Yeah. In addition to that, I do know that the Tour Championship doesn't see fan engagement as an opportunity to connect with fans of the sport and attendees of the championship, but you all have done a wonderful job with Foundation in including the surrounding community and gentrifying that area. Can you talk about those initiatives and how it has been really great to see the community grow?
So 1994 was when Tom Cousins purchased Eastlake Golf Club. And I can go back a little bit on this. So this used to be a really thriving community in the 1900s. This is where Bobby Jones grew up, one of the most famous golfers of our time. And he lived right down the street, learned to play here, played his first round of golf, his last round of golf right here at Eastlake Golf Club. Okay. And within the years after him stopping play, this area kind of went down. The projects were built, people moved in. It started to turn into a really poor neighborhood in terms of crime. Crime rates were very high. Average age of a grandmother was 32. Unemployment was super high. I think the employment rate was about 12%. And they called it Little Vietnam. That's how bad the area was. And in 1994, Tom Cousins bought the golf club and said, I want to have a PGA Tour event here. And he went to the commissioner at the time, Tim Fincham. And Tim's like, you're crazy. And he's like, nope, I want to have it here. And we had this event starting in 1998. And every single year this event has happened here, we are able to give back more and more to the community. So the ethos of the PGA Tour is charity. So we are a 501c6 organization. That is a membership organization. We work for our players. We are a for-profit, but we operate our tournaments as a nonprofit, as a profitable organization giving back to charity. And that's what I love about what we do, is that the change in this area since this tournament has come is crazy. This is one of the most in-demand areas to live in now. And the home prices are crazy and through the roof. They're knocking down little homes, building mansions. I mean, you name it. But there's still that aspect of affordable housing, a focus on the free and reduced lunch. They created Drew Charter School and focused on this, cradle to college pipeline where, kids are in school at 6 weeks and have provided childcare for these families so adults can get to work and provide support for these families through college. It has really changed this area to the point where this school is now one of the #1 schools in Atlanta, and it has a waiting list of like 2,000 kids long. This area is so in demand, and it a lot has to do with what Tom Cousins brought to this area and the PGA Tour event. So much that other organizations wanted to be a part of it. So we expanded our charitable footprint to include focused community strategies on the South Side, purpose-built schools, as well as the Grove Park community and First Tee in Metro Atlanta. So, it was my goal that when we moved, when I took this role, to really, dive deep and be a part of this community. So I live right here across the street from the course. I'm at the neighborhood meetings. I meet the neighbors that are across the street, talk to them about issues with the golf course or with the tournament. Like, however we can help and be a good citizen is what I want to do. I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, it is incredible. I think it's such a great best practice for other sports teams, but also organizations and neighborhoods to be inclusive and basically help the community rise together, because so often we see the separation when that happens, because it's like, now that it's great, the people who were pillars in the community are no longer part of the community.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And that was something that really impressed me my first time, going to East Lake and seeing that.
It's such a great neighborhood. We really enjoy it here.
Well, I'm going to go to some questions. I can't believe that we're already getting close to time.
Oh my goodness.
So our first question is, do you think motorsports, NASCAR, IMSA, etc., and large sponsors will ever appeal to fans and race car team owners who are Black and from other underrepresented backgrounds?
So 5 years ago, I would say no. I don't think that they're doing a great job of really appealing to the masses. But now, I think with kind of the new group and the new focus of NASCAR and what it's doing, especially with having Jordan coming in as an owner, it's really exciting to see the difference. Now, I think they still need to do a better job of growing the diversity within the younger side of the sport. It is so expensive to race a car. I mean, just starting out, that there's some serious barriers there to participation. And until they can get past that, I think it's going to be tough to show folks that it's attainable to people that are from unrepresented backgrounds. Honestly, I really do.
Thank you for your question.
Absolutely. That was a good one.
And now we have some questions that were submitted via email from our newsletter. What are essential skills that students should focus on to get in the role that you have?
Listening. I know that that's not one that's probably high on a lot of people's lists, but honestly, think about it. When someone's talking, you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say to them. You're not really listening to what they have to say. So listening is something that's essential, because you miss out on a lot of great tidbits, and you're going to find a lot of answers to questions that you may have just by not thinking about what you're going to say next and actually listening to the person in front of you. So listening is something that's very important. Hard work. Look, grit, determination. I'm not the smartest person in the room in the slightest. So I had to work extra hard in order to get where I am. But I would never ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do either. So, being in the weeds, in the thick of it, building trust with your associates and knowing that you are someone that they can come to when needed, I think is something that's absolutely important. And also relationship building. Look, if no one likes you, you're not going to move up in the world. I mean, it's pretty simple. So, building relationships with key people, networking not just externally, but internally networking is just as important too.
That's a good question. The next question is, what is the most challenging thing about the work that you do?
The most challenging thing about the work that I do, honestly, I think it would have to be like being prepared for so many different types of situations. You have to, and I talked about it earlier, just, weather, an unruly fan, everything, just kind of being prepared is kind of like the Boy Scouts motto, right? Be prepared. Is that what they do? The 3 fingers? Yeah. So I think that's the toughest thing, because you just never knew what's going to happen. And, being in a live event with over 20,000 people there on the golf course, anything can happen, right? So it's just kind of knowing what to do in every type of situation. And I'm still learning on that one, honestly, because I haven't experienced every situation. I'm getting there, though. But yeah, I would have to say it's just being prepared for anything that comes my way.
What are some current trends in sports and golf that you are focused on?
Digital is something that we're very focused on. Wayfinding, apps in general, I think are really interesting. And it really helps with the fan engagement too. The digital side of things also helps us understand where our customers are coming from, where we in the past, used to just have hard tickets. I fought so hard. I mean, the city of Atlanta has been digital for quite a few years, and we were just late bloomers because we didn't start to become digital in 2019, and we only went hospitality. So now especially with COVID, we're completely contactless. Everything is digital. And so that's really helped our business, thank goodness, because we were so behind the times when it came to all that. But the digital side of things has been really interesting. Non-fungible tokens. These things blow my mind. Like it's just fascinating to me what these are and how they've taken off. Like it cracks me up. There's something new every single freaking day. And it's so hard to keep up with everything, but I try my hardest. Different social media platforms, TikTok. Jesus, I can't keep up with it all. I've got my kids that I just follow what they do. Jeez. Yeah. But it's hard to keep up with everything that keeps changing. So I think those are some of the trends that I'm really interested in learning a little bit more about.
Yeah, when you said non-fungible tokens, I'm like, yes, it's like NFT just popped up out of nowhere.
Like overnight. Yeah, like Bitcoin. Like now I'm buying it. I don't know why, but I'm buying it because it's like the cool thing to do. Jeez, all this digital craze, it blows my mind. It really does. It's so fascinating to me.
Did you all have a lot of pushback moving from hard paper tickets to digital?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because, think about the average fan that attends the events. Now, granted, over the last couple of years, it's gotten much younger, but we skew a little bit older. And we have to be prepared for people that don't have a phone. There are still people out there that don't have a phone, or they have a flip phone and they can't put a ticket on their phone. So, in fact, we're getting pushback still to this day about digital. There are certain people that just don't like using digital tickets.
I was also thinking that unlike regular season Braves, Falcons, Hawks, dream games, the Tour Championship is a bucket list item, a solo event, just like Super Bowl. So I can imagine, in addition to the age demographic, people want something to commemorate that.
Absolutely. And I joke around and I say this, but we are the Super Bowl of golf. We are the final event of the PGA Tour season. The person that wins walks away with the trophy, the FedEx Cup, and $15 million. That's the biggest payout in sports outside of boxing. And, it's something that they want to walk home with. They want to walk away with, a ticket saying that they were there. We got in this large conversation about, our 1904 club tickets. These are our shiny toy, the best ticket, the most sought after ticket. at our events, and we're going digital in those. And it's like, how do you make up for the experience and having people walk around saying, wow, I've got this, I am in the cool club. Like this is the coolest ticket out on the golf course. So we've wrestled with, do we give them a wristband to make them feel special, or a lanyard, or, you know, or do we send them something afterwards? It's really interesting because people are attached to their tickets. Like for me, I get mine, I chuck it because I've had so many tickets in my lifetime. Like I could wallpaper my home, but it's, you know, for me, it's not a big deal, but I know that it is a big deal for a lot of people.
Definitely. And I think that's also really important for us to do in sports, is to keep that top of mind. Like even small things like walking around the clubhouse for you, or for me, seeing the Atlanta United locker rooms every single day. For someone else, it is definitely, you know, a very unique experience. And we just have to keep that top of mind and be sensitive to how special it really could be for someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Can't believe that we are at time, Allison, but I can't let you go without my favorite 3 statements.
Okay.
So this is a part of the show where I ask my guests to complete 3 sentences.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm bad at this. I'm just warning you. You'll ask me a question and I'll like talk to you about it. So
that's even better. Okay. So this is the song that I want to hear when I am walking up to the podium for a big keynote.
Confident, Ariana Grande.
Nice. I like that too. She's on my Feeling Myself playlist.
Yeah. And in fact, this is funny because we talked about this. I talked about this with my daughter. She was talking about what type of walk-up song she would want when she walked up to hit. And we both agreed that we love Confident by Ariana Grande. So that's how I knew. Believe me, if you would ask me the question and we would have talked, I'd have been like, huh, good question. And I've been thinking about it for 20 minutes.
Let me think about it. Okay, the next statement is, this book changed my life. Everyone must read it.
Slightest Edge. It was a friend, The Slightest Edge. Yes. A friend gave me the recommendation to do it. And it's literally talks about just 95% of people really don't put the effort in. We're only 5% do. And those 5% are the ones that are really growing their careers, growing their lives, and being better people. So The Slightest Edge. That's the book I would recommend you reading.
Nice. And finally, the documentary about Allison Thomas Fillmore will be titled.
Oh, geez. I thought you were going to ask me who would play me. I was like, Sandra Bullock. Let's see. The first woman commissioner in golf of the PGA Tour, Allison.
I love it. We heard it here first on SHEMAKERS.
Jay Monahan, I'm coming for you.
Well, before I let you go, how can everyone still participate in this year's tour championship? Are there still volunteer opportunities?
Yes, there absolutely are volunteer opportunities. You go to our website, tourchampionship.com. There's information about volunteering. There's information about tickets. And remember, when you do purchase tickets, you are directly supporting the Atlanta community and the surrounding communities. So that's the great thing about the sporting event. When you attend, know that you feel good about it because it directly impacts and makes people's lives better by just attending a sporting event.
So to close us out, Allison, what is the most essential note that all of our SHEMAKERS listening tonight must put in their playbooks to win in business and life?
You make 100% of the shots you don't. I totally screwed that one up. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. There you go. And that is like my favorite quote in the world because honestly, you need to try. If you don't try, you're never going to know if you failed or if you succeeded. So always, always try. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say no, or you don't win. So you're just going to try again. Failure, you need failure in order to be successful, to learn from your mistakes.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Allison. It was so great to see you tonight. I am happy that we were able to connect on SHEMAKERS this evening. I'm really excited about the Tour Championship this year, and I can't wait to get together in person.
I look forward to it as well.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. You too.
Well, hello again, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation with Alison Fillmore. Definitely check out the Tour Championship. It's always a really fun time here in Atlanta. Speaking of golf, remember, June 26th, we are having our Peach Afternoon Golf Tea. So head to our website and get your tickets. Subscribe, and you will get $30 off an individual ticket. Well, ladies, once again, thank you so much for watching, and gentlemen, for watching tonight. I hope you got some really great notes for your playbook. Until our next episode, remember, you are a SHEMAKER, and I am here to help you unleash your power, make big plays, get in the end zone, and win. Have a good night.